storm is a brewing right before the playoffs as the Thunder continue to roll, winning 20 of their last 22 games, coming off a 5-game homestand, winning all 5 games, continuing to be hot right before the playoffs, and perfect basketball to be played right now for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Let's get into it right here on Thunder Banter. What is up, y'all, and welcome to this very last episode of the regular season of Thunder Banter. This first season that I've covered, it's been awesome. Going ahead and posting these videos and doing what I love. It's not about the engagement to me. It's about me talking about my favorite teams and getting, the interactions that I do. If I don't, so what? Going ahead and just talking my talk, spitting my game is what I love to do, what I've always loved to do, and I'll continue to do it. But happy belated Easter to y'all, and man, it was live and a great one after OKC pulled off a 5 straight wins on a road trip to make Easter even that much better, guys. I hope you guys had a great Easter Sunday, going ahead and spending time with family, barbecuing, eating good food, Easter egg hunting, all that good stuff with the fam. So I hope you guys had a great Sunday. But with that being said, Oklahoma City Thunder made it that much better, going ahead and continuing to stay hot, coming off a 5-game win streak all at home, and now headed on the road for 3 games before the last game on Sunday to end the season, y'all. This is the last week of the NBA. I cannot believe that we're already here, but the season is finally over and the playoffs are here. But after a great road stint, going 4-1 and 12-1 in their last 13 games, the Thunder continued their dominance and hot streak at home with a perfect 5-game homestand versus the Bulls, Knicks, Pistons, Lakers, and Jazz. Great basketball was being played with the playoffs right around the corner, only 8 days away. Or actually, I typed this up, a couple days ago, or last night. We are about a week out, less than a week out, guys. So we got, obviously the game coming later tonight for the Thunder to start this week off, but our last game on Sunday. And sure enough, I will be attending that game later tonight. Ooh-wee! It is going to be my first Thunder game in a while. To be honest, now that I think about it, it's the first game that I've attended since game 4 or 5, I think it was. It was game 4 when we went up 3-1. That year before all that stuff with KD happened. That is the last game that I went to. It was at Golden State. It was in Oracle Arena when I was in the Bay Area in high school. And I think that is my last Thunder basketball game. Now that sorry about that. But that is my last basketball game that I've been to as a Thunder fan. And I'm going to the game tomorrow, face the Lakers. But also, I wanted to go. I haven't seen LeBron James in person, so hoping that he's going to be able to start this game. You never know. So you just kind of got to, buy the ticket and see what happens. But either way, it's going to be fun. I want to see some basketball being played right before the playoffs, 2 playoff teams, even though that the Lakers have been depleted, and we'll get into that later this episode. I'm excited, guys. Going to Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles and going to be attending this basketball game later tonight. But right around the corner is the playoffs, y'all, and this is a playoff type matchup that we're going to be getting later tonight. But let's get into how we got to this point, because, man, it has been crazy. This type of basketball and the streak that you want to see from your team right now before the playoffs. The Thunder will end the year with a 3-game road trip, and then Lakers, Clippers, Denver, and then end the season at home on the 12th versus the Suns. It's the last week of the season, y'all. 4 games this week, 3 on the road, 1 at home, and then it's playoffs time. April 14th is the play-in game. That is when it begins. But let's get into it, like I said, real quick, how we got to this point and the 5-game road trip that the Thunder had. Get right into it with the Bulls, as Chicago would come into town and face the number 1 team in the West and wouldn't fare well, as the Thunder would take out the Bulls 131-113, powered by a 22-0 run in the second half. Shea would have 25, 2, and 5. Not his best shooting night for him, 8 for 25, but was supporting cast was there to lift the MVP, as 5 others were in double figures, with AJ Mitchell, Kenrick Williams, and Jalen Williams having double figures off the bench. 12 or more points, and Hart also having 16 rebounds. Dub had a solid night as well, 18, 6, and 8, while Kaysen dropped 21, 5, and 2. Thunder shot a well-rounded 47% from the field, but 14 of 45 from 3. Not the best night, but that's fine. Thunder would also out-rebound the Bulls 58 to 47. OKC also forced 12 Bulls turnovers and managed to keep them at 42% from the shooting from the field and 32% from 3. Thunder would cruise to face out now the Knicks. The Knicks really been stumbling and really kind of trying to find their footing. These are all playoff teams, mind you. If I'm correct, actually the Bulls just missed the playoffs. So the Bulls weren't a playoff team, but um, the Knicks, on the other hand, you know, bona fide playoff team, and right now the third seed in the East, coming into OKC, seeing how we would fare against them. They've been stumbling a little bit, but ultimately they've been trying to find their footing lately, as the Thunder would then take them on and take them out for the last matchup of the season between the Knicks and the Thunder, 111 to 100. After it was a tight knit game, really, all throughout the game. Thunder would have 4 of their 5 starters in double figures, with Hart still having 6 and 13. Whew. Shea led the pack with 33, 4, and 8 of 18 shooting and 16 free throw attempts. Dub would follow with 22, 1, and 2 on 7 of 11 shooting, as Dort and Chet also had 12 and 16. OKC would shoot 47% from the field and 36% from 3 and hold a solid Knicks squad to a little less than 44% from the field. But they shot the rock from 3 better, 44% from 3-point land. Or no, I take that back, as it was actually 43% from 3-point land. But all that being said, shooting the rock from 3 for 43% is pretty ridiculous to me. And that has obviously been our Achilles heel as the Thunder defense. But we held them enough, 111 to 100. Knicks starters played all 33 minutes, all 33 plus minutes, and all were in double figures, with Brunson leading the way with 32, 5, and 5, but had 4 turnovers by himself. Towns, Josh Hart, Bridges would each have 15 points, but wasn't enough, as their bench would really only get production from Jose Alvarado. Thunder would take this game, making it back-to-back wins after the loss and winning 17 of their last 19 games at this point. Thunder would then play the East best once again, looking for redemption from their last matchup, losing to the Pistons, and now Detroit rolls into Oklahoma City and would match up with the best in the West and the best in the East one more time, as the Thunder would get the W this time, but in overtime, 114 to 110. Shea would lead the way and drop 47, 5 and 3, 12 of 19 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3-point land, and 21 of 25 from free throw. To me, it's unfortunate that, because of the fact that this narrative that will continue with Shea, but 90% of what he creates, to me, guys, is just knowing the game and knowing leverage and knowing how to be able to score, right? It doesn't matter how you score, right? If the same people are going to be on the same, right? There's people over here talking about, well, Bam has 83, but it's still 83 points, even if he has 40 free throws. Okay. Well, what's different if Shea is going ahead and have 25 free throws and having 47 points? But people are going to continue to hate. He's shooting actually a lot less free throws than people are saying this year. But at the end of the day, the narrative is going to continue with him about the foul baiting, about this and about that. And regardless, this is going to be my guy. This is my favorite player, my MVP, but I hate what comes with it, what this stat line comes with. And it's not appreciative of his play and his greatness and what he is doing. Continuing this 20-point streak as well. But either way, the Thunder got the W and had 3 others in double figures with Wig, Chet, and AJ. Thunder would shoot 47% from the field and only 29% from the field, or 29% from 3, as the Pistons shot 42% from the field and 37% from 3, with 52% from the line. That is not good enough to be able to win ball games, especially in the playoffs. And you got to be able to make your free throws. So the Pistons got to work on that part. Thunder would be out rebounded, though, by 5, and also would commit more turnovers than forced and have less steals and less blocks. So really, the Pistons manhandled this game. It was just a matter of the Shea having a game. Luckily, the play of Shea, like I said, shined and managed to pull this one off late in OT. Lakers were the next matchup for the Thunder, as it would be an unfortunate matchup, but ultimately, because of the fact that we don't like injuries, we don't like injuries. But the Los Angeles Lakers came into town, a very hot Los Angeles Lakers team, and would try to face the best in the West, but would not only lose, but absolutely get obliterated in a 139-96 loss. But, or the Lakers lost. So Oklahoma City won 139-96, but an absolute obliteration. The story of the game wasn't the score, it was the injury to Luka Doncic after he pulled his left hamstring. As he's getting it checked out right now overseas, right now in Switzerland, I believe it is, or if that's where the medicine is from, but it's somewhere in Europe, and you just hate to see it, guys. It's just, like I said, we hate injuries. And not only to the point of me going to the game tonight, but it just, to the top tier players, you hate to see it in any sport, and it's inevitable. We understand that, but it's just so ironic, the timing of these injuries, and it just sucks to key players who many would, you know, go ahead and vouch for MVP. Um, over Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, over Victor Wembanyama, over Jokic. Luka Doncic has had a fantastic season. Um, he's had a fantastic season, and you just hate to see that happen. And I pray and I hope that he can recover fast, and whatever medicine he's getting there overseas can heal him up fast. And if it's I saw a report, it could be 2 weeks, and a little bit into the first round. If that is it, I think that they have the capability to still be able to be scary, but it's going to be hard because he's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be in the rhythm that he was, absolutely dropping 50-50. And it was going absurd, guys, going absolutely absurd. And yes, also to the fact that I'm not going to be able to see him. That would have been my first time seeing Luka Doncic in person. But I hope and pray that he has a speedy recovery. Left hamstring. I hope he's getting that checked out. But like I said, regardless, it was a historic loss for the Lakers, but also a historic loss before the playoffs to such an injury to the best player, like I said, to whom many believe is the MVP. I just pray for Luka, not to mention also losing Austin Reeves, like literally the following days, a couple days ago. I mean, it just sucks. Um, Basketball fans, are excited to see what the possibility of the Lakers three-headed monster would be in the playoffs, with Braun, Luka, and Reeves. And now you don't get to see that. And I think more than anything, I think that what irks me the most is the fact that um, I think as the NBA community, we were excited to see the Lakers kind of contend, um, for whatever it was, right? Going in a deep run in the playoffs. I don't know if people would try and have them as their favorites for the finals, but at the end of the day, they were definitely going to go and win some ball games in the playoffs, and it was going to be exciting to see with a fully, you know, at the time healthy Luka Doncic, um, and also full season under his belt with the Lakers organization. It was going to be interesting to see what he was going to do with LeBron at that age, and what LeBron has been doing all season long, absolutely tearing it up with Luka. And then not to mention the last piece of the puzzle, Austin Reeves, who's now out for the season. Um, that in itself is even, I think, worse because of the fact that AR was having a great season as well. We knew, obviously, you know, um, you know, the Luka one was gonna hurt, but I think the AR one hurts just a little bit more, knowing the fact that he was going absolutely berserk, and having that third piece is so significant, and sometimes a three-headed monster. Um, Man, it's just, I'm hoping and praying Luka come back to be able to at least get one piece back to the puzzle for LeBron, and you also feel for LeBron, right? Just one last ride into the sunset, into the playoffs. Um, one deep run. He can't even get that, guys. He can't even get that one somebody healthy. And Anthony Davis wasn't really healthy in the back end of his, stint with the Lakers. So it just sucks as basketball fans. And yes, it obviously sucks because I'm going to the game tonight and I'm gonna not be able to see any of those guys. But in the end, the score didn't matter. Like I said, the stats don't matter. It was a crapshoot from the moment that happened. Those injuries, but the Lakers took the sales. Or sorry, the Thunder took the Lakers sales, um, and right out, and every player on each team had 10 minutes of action, so it was actually an all-around open gym. Thunder put up 102 shots. So yeah, it was one of those games. But 139 to 96, the Thunder would go ahead and take out the Lakers at home. And then the last game to round out the home stand against the Utah Jazz, the up and coming team. They ended their 5-game homestand with a W against this young Jazz squad and also took them out 146 to, sorry, I don't know why it cut out here. 146 to 111. I guess I only typed in two ones, but it was an absolute obliteration and annihilation, just like the Lakers game. The Thunder shot an astounding 59% from the field and 53% from three, as they could not miss. All starters in double figures, with Chet leading the way with 21, 7, and 1, and Shea would also continue his streak. Now I believe it's at 140 games. Unreal, but managed as he would only go 7 of 10 from the field and only 4 free throws. Thunder would out rebound the Jazz, but actually commit more turnovers and less steals, but 5 more blocks, not to mention having 40 assists for the OKC Thunder. Um, guys also got great minutes. Seeing Topic play was awesome, and not to mention Carlson as well, getting some minutes. Being able to play deep into the ball game. But the Thunder now have won 20 of their last 22 games and kick off their last road trip of the season. And the next 3 games are pretty pivotal against some pretty solid teams. Obviously, the Lakers, but then we got the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Suns. So it's gonna be, maybe not the toughest matchup, but at the end of the day, we got to finish strong. We're 2.5 games ahead of the San Antonio Spurs as we speak, and we don't want to get complacent. We don't want to just say, all right, whatever, let's roll over and just roll into the playoffs. We need to continue to play this basketball that we're playing, and I think we're playing the basketball that we want to be playing in the playoffs. I'm excited to see right now. The matchup I think that we have right now is, it really doesn't matter at this point. I think personally, it doesn't matter. I was going to look and see, who we're going to play. But you know what? It does not matter to me. Whoever our opponent is, it's going to be a formidable opponent. This Western Conference is a gauntlet. And we're going to see what happens on the 14th when this play-in starts. But the next 3 games, like I said, now we head to LA to face off against the now no Luka and AR-15 list Lakers, as LeBron looks to carry the weight of the Lakers and see what he can do on Tuesday night. I will be heading to the game. Like I said, I am ecstatic. First time being able to go out there and see the GOAT play basketball in front of my eyes. But right after that, the Lakers will face the Clippers, then have a matchup versus the Joker one more time before maybe a playoff matchup with the Joker once again. These teams have history. Guys, and it's going to be popcorn ready for that matchup. The Thunder will round out their season at home against the Phoenix Suns, so I'll see you guys next week. Maybe Friday, maybe Sunday, I'm not sure. Later this week, sorry, not next week, but later this week, because this is the last week of the season, y'all. I cannot believe it. Sunday is going to be the last game, and then the 14th, we got the play-in tournament. But let's go ahead and take a peep at the standings real quick. Like I said, we're 2.5 games ahead of the San Antonio Spurs, but right behind them are now the Denver Nuggets, because of the fact that you obviously saw the sales just completely just taken out by the Los Angeles Lakers. So I hope that they don't fall too deep. But they're only a half game back. They can still manage to find their way. There's 4 games left, I believe, for each team, 3 to 4 games. So we can manage. They can manage to find a way to be in the 3 spot. Houston right behind them in the 5 spot, and then Minnesota in the 6 spot. But right now it's looking really vague, especially with the news of Anthony Edwards his knee not looking as good as people had thought. So that's a concern. And then right behind them are the Phoenix Suns, Clippers, Trailblazers, and Warriors. So, like I said, we're going to be facing the Clippers. We're going to be facing all playoff teams in these last 4 games. Are they going to be the hardest? Who knows? But we got to finish strong. I think that we continue to play this basketball. I love the rotations that Dags is getting in, and Shea continues to do the MVP that be the MVP that he is. I think that we're going to be fine. We need to rebound the basketball, I think, a little bit better and stop turning. We've been turning the ball over a lot lately. Maybe that's because we've been putting up a lot of shots and trying to take chances. But we need to continue to shoot the rock well, like I had lamented to, and just continue on this good trend of great basketball, guys. Because at the end of the day, I love playing playoff teams right before the playoffs start because we're going to get dialed in. The 14th is when the play-in starts. We'll see who we will be matched up against because that's essentially how we will be, knowing who we will be matched up against is the play-in and who finishes in the 8th seed. But at the end of the day, guys, keep our heads screwed on and try not to get too ahead of ourselves here as the playoffs are right around the corner. But that is a wrap of this episode of Thunder Banter. We out.